Hello, darling.
Ah, hello. Look at you.
I tell me,
Looking...
Mom, when I go home, the boys will leave the girls alone. They stole my hair, they stole my comb, but that's all right till I get home.
She is a handsome, she is a pretty,
pretty.
she is the belle of
You know,
Belfast City.
pretty. She is a cordon, 1, 2, 3. Would you tell me, who is she? Tina! Ooh, look at me, I'm off
Well,
Patrick's Day, the day
aren't
girl.
you a vision
Yes.
in green?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And look at the hair, look at the hair.
Uh-huh.
You like my hair?
Your hair looks fabulous, fabulous.
So do you, darling. So do y'all.
Do you like my hair? Do you like?
I love
my
your
hair?
hair. I love you. I love your new hair. I love your new hair. Honest to God, it is brilliant. How are you doing, work husband?
Yes.
Glenn Marshall Adams.
Really good, really good. Thank you.
Good.
And how are you?
I am absolutely fantastic. I'm just back from finishing my international tour in Gran Canaria. Playa del Inglés, Sparkle Show
Lovely.
Bar.
Well, listen, before we get into that, let's do the intro.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
So,
yes.
hello and welcome back to One for the Road. You know the drill, people. Pour yourself a drink, get comfy, and settle in for another episode where we unpack the weird, the wonderful, and the downright ridiculous stories making waves this week.
That's right. And trust me, we've got a lineup that'll have you giggling, gasping, and maybe questioning reality itself.
Yeah, so first up, we're going to cover off the Kardashians who took a trip to India this week. And shocker, it wasn't anything like Aladdin. Who knew that Agrabah wasn't real?
I mean, honestly, at this point, we wouldn't even be surprised. I can't stand the Kardashians. But yet, we'll chat about their lavish wedding experience, a missing diamond, and a spiritual awakening. Because, of course...
Yes, and then we're getting into the old age debate of natural weight loss, what actually works and what's just another fad. Spoiler alert, it's probably not the magic tea that you saw on Instagram.
Now, be honest. Do you white knuckle the seat in front of you when your plane takes off or lands? Or are you one of those people who just casually scrolls through their phone like they're on a bus?
I casually scroll through my phone like I'm on a bus. But we've also got music, brand new music. Yes, Queen Jade has released her summer bop, FUFN, which stands for FU for now. It was co-written by Ray, and we will break down the song, the drama, and whether this is an instant banger. And let's not forget her appearance at the Brits.
Yes, I'm so bold away. And she won.
She did.
She won. And everybody, even Jade, went, what? Me? Oh, yeah. Oh, it's me. It's me. But listen, and let's talk superstitions, shall we? Are you saying, hello, Mr. Magpie, how's the wife and kids? Or are you just risking bad luck like a reckless fool?
And speaking of outdated habits, when was the last time you had actually bought a newspaper? Are print papers officially dead? Or do some of us still love a good old rustle with our morning coffee?
And finally, the workplace blunder that's got everyone talking. Imagine accidentally emailing 180 people about your bully boss. Well, one poor lad at Witherspoons did just that. And well, let's just say it didn't end well for him.
Yeah, so sit back, relax, and let's dive into this G&T Sips and Giggles One for the Road theme tune.
Oh, my darling, it's so good to be home.
Yes, I cannot wait to hear all the biz about Grand Can. What have you been up to this time? Where did you go? Who did you see? Who did you do?
Well, I can't say that. I'm totally discreet. So, I went to the third reunion of Sparkle Show Bar since it reopened after lockdown.
Right.
Which was taken over by a beautiful young man called Brandon. Now, his drag name is Brandy. And way back then, very long story, very short, when it just opened in September and I had arrived a few months later, I ended up working. And it was the first time I had performed in nearly 2 years. And bearing in mind, I had no makeup, no costumes, no nothing. They asked me to perform. So I'd done the first show, I'd done the second show, and that was the Tuesday, and then the Saturday, and at the end of the show, I got a standing ovation. And he said to me, please stay, and I said no. He said, I'll give you a bungalow, you and your mummy and your dog can come here, and I said no. He said, Tina, I need your help, what am I going to do? And I said, the only way you're going to work this is if you become a drag queen.
And the rest is history, so they say.
And the rest is history. So we had the third reunion, which I was invited to perform. I worked on the Friday night. Saturday was Garbo's, where it was a beautiful venue. Oh, please, if you can, get a link for Garbo's and Sparkle Show Bar. And it's like a mini Grand Opera House. It is a pleasure to perform in, and they're so lovely. It is just wonderful. And the show the girls put on. And then, of course, they had Crazy Bingo at the end.
Yes,
you know that.
Like a bit of Crazy Bingo.
We do. You and I love a little bit of bowls, so we do. We're like swinging the bowls, swinging the numbers. And honest to God, it was so well received. And this is their third one. It was the busiest one yet.
Oh, that's good.
And apart from that, it's my first real stint since surgery. Mm-hmm. And I was a wee bit concerned about how I would cope and how I would I was fine. I had my aches and my pains and my tightness and my tension, but then I also had pink gin.
Well, you can't go wrong when you've got a bit of gin, you know what I mean?
I was like, hello, Mr. Gordon. It's me, it's Bagel Legs from Belfast. I had a few pink gins, and I laughed all week.
Good.
I did. I went away with them. There was two lovely couple. I have to mention them. Anthony and Barry, who I have christened Sandra and Barbara.
Oh, hello, Sandra and Barbara. Hope you've had a good time.
This was Barry, Barbara. Hi, I'm Barbara. And also Cian and Joe. They're a couple as well, and Dean. So it was 5 of us going over individually, and we all kind of just got that together. We were staying quite close together, and I had a real old-fashioned good week gay getaway.
Love a good old gay getaway. I've not done one of them properly in a long, long time. We used to go to Sochi with a crowd of us. But yes, do love a good old gay knees up, shall we say?
Mm-hmm. Well, you see, it's more than your knees up, love you.
I was just throwing that one out there for you.
Yeah. Oh God, no, it was lovely. And you know what? They always say laughter is the best medicine, Glenn.
Yeah.
And that's all I done.
And actually, speaking of Dean, I know that Dean has actually became a Patreon. So let's make a very quick shout out to Dean Mackenzie. Thank you so much for joining us as a Patreon, Dean.
Yes.
It's people like you that help keep our conversation flowing. And
thank you,
Tina and I will absolutely be knocking the drinks back. So thank you so much for that.
Oh, girl. And also, Dean himself struggled with weight.
Oh, okay.
And Dean has become one of the top personal trainers in Gainforth Gym.
Oh.
And he's oh my God, he's such a physique, and he's working, he works hard, and he's got to where he is by hard work, and I just think, kudos.
Well,
Isn't
absolutely.
that say kudos?
Yeah, kudos to him. Yeah, absolutely.
My big ginger map. Look at my big ginger. But Crystal, do you know what? The older viewers will be going, do you know who Tina reminds me of? You'll not remember this, Glenn. You're way too young. Crystal Thompson Alistair.
Right. You're right. I'm way
you
too
look
young.
that up when this is off, when this is over, and I bet you, our Louise, your mummy, she'll go, oh, that's who it is, Tina. I couldn't put my finger on it. Swear to God, Crystal Thompson Alistair, to be honest, man, all made out of diamonds. Go ahead. And anyway, what about you, my love?
Not a great deal, to be frank. We are on the final countdown. We're away in 26 days. We're on our Easter hollybops, and we're doing a transatlantic cruise. But this weekend we were actually up the north coast. Caravan season has officially resumed. Gary's daddy has a caravan up the port, and as you know, the port is our home from home. So we were down there. Myself, Gary, and Mark went down, and it was good. It was nice. The rugby was on though, so the place was absolutely mental. There was a lot of people about. Do you know that way? Very hard to get a seat, but it was nice just to catch up. And just sort of get back to your things.
I seen your video looked gorgeous. But where was that? You were sitting and you were able to overlook the ocean.
Yeah, that's the yacht, Portrush Yacht Club. So it's open to the public. You can walk in, but we worked out a while back that an annual membership at the yacht club. I think it's like £120 or something like that. I can't really remember, but between the three of us, it's 40 quid a year, and you get 20% off drinks if you're a member. So we worked out that basically between the three of us, we would have needed to have had, I can't really do the math off the top of my head, but it worked out like we'd need to have something like 30 drinks over the course of a year for us to break even and for it to start benefiting. And as you can imagine, we pretty much do that.
Can do 30 drinks in an afternoon. Honey, it's three gays.
I know.
Do you know what I mean? 30 drinks is the first round.
So honestly, I mean, we bought it primarily just for the discounts on the alcohol, but also there are like activities and stuff. And if you've got a family, you know, you can go and do paddleboarding and kayaking, and they'll help you earn your powerboating license and all these extra sort of perks and all the rest of it. So anyway, long story short, we sat at the Portrush Yacht Club. We sat outside, and yes, we had such a fabulous weekend. The sun was out. It was a bit chilly, I'm not going to lie, but we had our thick jackets on, and it was nice catching up. Yeah, really good, really good. But we've got news. We should totally it's all, since the last time we've recorded, we have got news.
I needed someone. I always lived a life of my own. I never waited for the ring of a phone. Never I can hear when I got up with love's about to change. Donna Summer, my you know that's my go-to before we do any show. Miss Donna Summer, God rest her soul, I absolutely love her. You break the news.
And for anybody that is a long-standing Tina Legs fan and has been going to karaoke and the karaoke shows that we've done more recently in Union Street, will know that the no show will start unless we have been graced by Miss Donna Summer herself. So yes, Tina and I are returning to Union Street on Saturday, the 29th of March, full time. Tina will be back every single Saturday for your pleasure and entertainment. Yep. Now, we are so delighted to be back. We're bringing the G&T karaoke show, which we've been touring for quite a while. We're going to bring it to Union Street. They've asked us if we would kindly take up Residency, and well, we said yes.
And we are also going to introduce, as we go along, a few different fun, kind of sort of easy on the eye and ear, different kind of sort of levels to the show, where, you know, the way in most comedy karaoke shows, not everybody gets to sing.
No.
But what would you tell the boys and girls and the kids? Don't tell them everything, that we've got a secret up our sleeve.
Well, we have. I mean, we're going to take advantage of the fact that everybody likes to sing song, and that's all I'm going to say.
That's it.
So it's, you know, even if you're not somebody that wants to grace the stage, but you want to come along for a bit of a sing song and get really into it, then this is the show for you. Yeah. So if you want to reserve a table, you can do so by partaking in the Bottomless Brunch. Bottomless Brunch is available every Saturday between 2 and 4 p.m. It's £35, and for your £35, you'll get 2 hours of unlimited beers, wines, and Prosecco. Some cocktails are available as well. You'd be best to speak to the bar about the offer at the time of reserving, and they'll be able to tell you all the full details. But it also includes some finger food as well, so we will give you a bit of a nibble. So you know, to sort of keep you fed and watered before the show.
Here, can I ask you something?
Go for it.
See the finger food?
Uh-huh.
Do you know your woman Michelle that owns Spaghetti Arms next door?
Oh, I love her food. Oh, it's so good.
Here. Is it Michelle that's making the finger food?
It actually is. Spaghetti Arms are providing the catering. Yes. So you know that you're getting proper quality. And we just do the math as well, right? So I know that we used to sell, we used to allow people to reserve a table for £10 per person per table. Now, if you think about it, if you were paying that £10 per person per table, that's £10 straight away. You're getting unlimited drinks and a nibble for an extra 25 quid plus the table. So I think that's particularly good value. Get in early and book, ring the bar.
And also when you book the Bottomless Brunch and you get the nibbles and you find out what it is you're drinking, is you the wine and the beers and whatever, just before the show starts, around about 10:15, you will then be escorted from Union Street into the shoe factory, and your table will be reserved, and you will be sat and placed at your table. You know,
where both Tina and I will be standing to welcome you with opened arms as our VIPs for the day.
La, 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 la.
Anyway, we need to get back to this episode of the podcast. Back there.
Okay.
So anyway, check it out. Union Street, check them out on Facebook. You'll get all of the contact information on there. You can email them as well at bookings@unionstreetbar.com.
And Instagram.
They're on all the socials. Just look them up.
They're on socials. They're everywhere. Union Street Bar Belfast.
Anyway, Lexi.
Go.
This week, I had to, and you're not a fan of the Kardashians. I'm not a fan of the Kardashians. So I know, but it was too good of an opportunity to not, I didn't want to pass up on this. So I don't know if you read the news this week, but they embarked.
Are they dead?
No, they're not.
Oh.
They're not. No, they're not dead. Kim and Khloe Kardashian. I know. I've never
watched one single episode. I've maybe
watched one episode of the Kardashians, and I was like, what a load of trash. Anyway, Kim and Khloe Kardashian, in July of last year, they only recently made the headlines, or at least it's only really come onto my radar within, this week, but they went to a wedding in 2024 in July, and it was a 48-hour trip to Mumbai in India. Now, this was to attend some really, millionaire Indian guy. Now, essentially, why it made the news was they were asked about this trip, and Kim had basically said, well, they were doing before the wedding, they went to this market, and she said that Kim said she was really disappointed because the markets in India didn't resemble those that she had seen in Disney's Aladdin. Now, bear in mind, Aladdin is a cartoon in Disney. It was out in the 90s. It was set in a fictional city of Agrabah, right, which is in the Middle East, nowhere near India. So, you know what I mean? 3,000 miles away.
And she was expecting that.
She was expecting kind of open bread, open bread stalls, fruit stalls, and all this kind of nonsense. But she said that what she found the most terrific element of this was the streets were bustling, filled with honking horns and stray dogs, which apparently when they were made to walk from the hotel to this market stall. But it just shows you the entitlement, and this sort of expectation. And it was too good to not talk about. I just thought, Jesus.
Yeah, but no,
and they're influencers.
Yeah, for who? For what?
Well, there's a lot of people that are interested in what they're doing. They've got millions upon millions of followers online.
No, I know they have, but what they also don't have is trillions of unfollowers.
That's true. Well, there's not trillions of people on the planet, but maybe beyond Earth.
Okay, then. Yeah, there is actually. When you don't know that, because look at those two astronauts that have been stuck up in space for 9 months.
God, I know.
And they're only being released tomorrow.
Yeah.
And the only way they're releasing them is because they can't bring the capsule back because it's faulty. So they're having to bring them home and put other people in because it's got so much data in the last 9 months. And I had to laugh at your woman turning upside down. She was only supposed to be there for a week. She's like, I'm having a lovely time.
She was there for 9 months, wasn't she?
That was 9 months.
It's an extended break.
What? I was like, oh my God. But getting back to the Kardashians, I don't really. Well, you know what? That's the press for you. Do you know what I mean? And say whatever you can, make it as dramatic as possible, lie through your teeth, destroy someone's credibility, livelihood, and career by just putting out dirty, filthy black lies. As much as you can. As far as the Kardashians are concerned, I mean, they know fine well what India's like. They know what to expect. They would have done their research. They wouldn't do no research. They would have researchers researching where we're going, what we're doing. Because look at what happened the last time she went into this hotel and she got robbed by 5 imitation French security guards. She thought they were security guards.
Well,
Kim
actually,
Kardashian.
just on that, she also as apparently was wearing a necklace, like $100,000 necklace, and a diamond fell out of it and basically caused this massive panic in the wedding. They had everybody searching for this diamond. Now, this is kind of, I don't know whether you remember a couple of years ago, there was a video of her that she posted on social media of her jumping into like the crystal waters at Bora Bora, or she was pushed in or something like that. And she was wearing like $70,000 diamond earrings, and she lost one of them.
Yeah.
Like this girl has no luck at all when it comes to wearing
anybody
jewelry.
Who's lost a diamond out of a $100,000 necklace and one of her $70,000 earrings sounds to me like she really does have a lot of good luck because she's able to wear that expensive jewelry. I think it's, you know what, it's all a ploy. We're going to this wedding, let's make it about us. I'm going to jump in that pool, pretend I've lost one of my earrings. Okay, what's happened now? Okay, I think I've lost one of my stones. Absolutely.
Oh my. And you know that they're going to be insured as well, so as difficult as it is for her to be losing that kind of, those.
Do you know what I would be more shocked at? If I walked into a kitchen in Kim Kardashian's house and she was starting doing the dishes.
That's true.
Like I can guarantee you, not one of them Kardashians can wash a dirty dish or peel a potato.
Yeah.
I swear to you, and it's almost this, but don't even get me started on the Real Housewives.
We'll not.
You know what? And I think the Real Housewives of whatever it is a pure imitation of the Kardashians. Sorry, ladies, if you're offended, tough. TUFF, tough. Honestly. But here, I want to talk about, I'd love to talk about this because we kind of touched on it earlier on when we were talking about Dean.
Yes.
And this, the way we had our lovely friend Gail over, and she's on the
Monjaro, yeah.
Monjaro, okay. And friends of mine in Gran Canaria, there's about 6 or 7 of them, and they're on the Monjaro, and there's another one.
Ozempic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they've all lost so much weight.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking to myself, they look brilliant, they look great, and they're fabulous, and they're very happy, very happy, very happy. And I was thinking, right, this is where I'm coming from. In my mind, when I was at my heaviest, just over 21 stone, I thought, I don't want to do this no more. I wasn't depressed or fed up. So I naturally lost quite a lot of weight. Going to the gym, eating healthy, stopped smoking, the over drinking, all of that nonsense. And within about 9 months, I lost about 10, 12 stone.
Mm-hmm.
And now I monitor that. And to me, that's successful natural weight loss.
Mm-hmm.
And I know when I'm going up, and then I stop. So I'm kind of sort of, I was thinking to myself, where does that stop? The injections, the skinny jabs?
Mm-hmm.
What hard is, it isn't natural. For a start. It's like, do you remember the whole thing a couple of years ago? Everybody went to Turkey and got their tummies all cut out.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody got the stomach cut out, and you had to come home, and then you had to like drink water for 6 weeks, and then you had to lick dust for 4 weeks before you could eat anything. And you were literally like a zombie. By the time you get up on your feet, people didn't recognize you because you just spent 10 weeks eating fresh air. And I was thinking to myself, fair play to anybody who has to lose weight and they want to lose weight. Whatever way they choose to do it, I applaud you. I am not criticizing. But this is the thought in my mind. I done it naturally. I got rid of the big heavy bits. And I work naturally at keeping it off.
Yeah.
So how do these people who have lost all this weight by taking an injection? Do you keep taking the injection? When do you stop taking the injection? What's the side effects? Are there dangers?
Well, I mean, first of all, I would encourage anybody that's interested to go and listen to the episode that we done with our good friend Gail on Manjaro, because she did talk about the side effects and things there. But I think this is a personal preference.
Yeah,
I think that for weight loss in particular, having eating whole foods, fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, whole grains, just having like a balanced diet is particularly good. Not everybody though can do regular physical activity for whatever reason. Some people might have arthritis, for example, and will struggle to do things that might allow them to exercise. I think one of the other things as well that's often overlooked is having adequate sleep. People really should be aiming for, scientists say, between 7 to 9 hours per night. That helps support your metabolism and helps recovery. I know that if I've had a really terrible night's sleep, the next morning when I wake up, I feel really lethargic and all I want to do is eat. Do you know, that way?
Yeah.
So like I think a lot of it extends beyond, first of all, diet and physical activity. I think there are other things that you can do, but
Yeah.
from what Gail explained to us during that episode about Monjaro is that this is a tool that works for her.
Yeah.
And she still eats. But the difference being is that she just doesn't have the same appetite that she had. So in that view,
so it's an appetite suppressant.
It is. But
Okay.
she's still working out. You know, she's still being careful about what she eats. And just to answer your question, based on what I understand from speaking to Gail, is that you will, if you're on Manjaro, you're typically on it for life. You get put onto what they call a maintenance dose. And again, you know, if you're on it for life, that's up to you. If you don't want to take it or you've got side effects, just stop taking it. Any good physician will tell you that if you're experiencing side effects on any medication, that you should stop taking it.
I just think those were the queries that I'd thought about. And this is the first time, yes, I remember, and I think Gail looks amazing and I applaud her. She looks fantastic. And I remember all the wonderful things, all the negatives and the positives that she talked about. But this was the first time I'd seen a group of people who I hadn't seen for 8-9 months. And all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Now they're all working away and they've all got really good quality lifestyles. And it was just a question in my mind. Like, I done mine naturally and other people will do theirs. And there are limitations to people who can physically get up and go to a gym. Not everybody can afford a PT, and you know.
And I think that's nail on the head there. And I think it's optics. It's like what works for you will not necessarily work for somebody else.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, you know, I think if I compare my lifestyle to yours, for example, you know, you absolutely thrive on going to the gym, and that makes up a part of your daily routine.
Yeah.
Whereas I get up every day and I go and sit in an office and sit on my bum, and you know, and I use the mental stuff, you know, having to think about mentally working for my job. And see, by the time I got home, Tina, I could not be bothered even thinking about the gym. Yeah, no, that's exactly for the benefit of people listening. Tina's feeling like a zombie face, but that's exactly the way that I feel. I couldn't think of it, and that's being a good mood. But I couldn't think of anything worse, you know, than going to the gym.
I know what you mean.
So I think it is optics, and I think that's where. I think when you asked me before about my view on this, and I'm Alsace. It's like whatever works for you, go for it. You know, if you've got side effects, don't do it. Take time off. The same way that if people, you know, want to drink or they want to smoke or whatever, it's personal preference. Like, do you know what I mean? And we should view it that way. Same with cosmetic surgery. Not everybody agrees with the likes of me going to get a hair transplant. No. You know, it's kind of like just accept it, grow old gracefully, blah blah blah. But I'm doing what works for me.
You're doing
you know? Yeah.
You
100%.
do you.
You do you, boo.
here's one I want to ask you about something completely different. Obviously, I've chatted about Gran Canaria, and one thing that I was looking at, I don't know why this just would really annoy me. People who grip the seats in front of them on takeoff and landing, especially when the plane is landing. You'll see people doing that.
Yeah.
As if they're imagine if it crashed.
Yeah. Well, that is actually a common behavior, and I know exactly what you're talking about. It's the brace position that people are that it's because they tell you, if you look at
is that not like you put your head down, you cross your legs and cross your arms, and you.
Well, you're supposed to. You're supposed to put your arms. Yeah. But it's the same idea. And if you look at the do you know the wee thing in the back of your seat, the safety thing?
Oh yeah. This the thing that's in front of you.
Yeah, it'll show you that you put your hands up and stuff. I think it's just an anxiety thing. It is a bit bizarre to observe, I guess. I don't personally do it. As I said earlier, I just wait. I'm reading my phone. I'm on a bus.
You read your phone. I have to be looking out the window, and I have to be saying an Our Father in the Hail Mary. That's the way I cope with that. I don't like flying myself, but if I want to get to places, I'm going to have to travel, and part of that traveling is flying. So the takeoff is not too bad. It's the landing that makes me a wee bit jittery. But I look out the window, but I'm also looking and I think to myself, oh, there we go. And they'll put their hands up on the seat in front of them, and I'm thinking, what good's that going to do?
No, I get it. I think it is just an anxiety thing, isn't it? It's like whatever makes somebody feel safe. But you know, the one thing that really pisses me right off when you're
No,
on a when
bro.
you're on a plane.
No.
Is do you see that the person sitting behind you, and then they pull on your chair when they stand
Mm,
up,
every time.
and then let it go, so you
Yeah.
sort of get like it just pings you backwards and forwards. It's like that. What?
Why? Why?
Do people not realize that that's really unsettling? Like where's the etiquette, Lexi? Where is the etiquette?
It's gone out the window. You see all these economy flights. There is no etiquette anymore. It's all economy, love. Where do I many
Oh
go?
dear.
Where do I many go?
But no, I do know what you're talking about. But actually, I did want to speak to you. I've been honestly, I have had like this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Jade from Little Mix.
Yes.
Jade is part of the girl group Little Mix. They started off in the X Factor years and years and years ago, for people who aren't aware. And she's went solo. So Little Mix announced a couple of years ago that they were disbanding and they were going to work on their solo projects, as most girl groups do. Spice Girls did it. Sugar Babes did it. Well, Sugar Babes have had so many incarnations that they're actually back round to the original lineup. But she's been releasing new music over the past year. Now, some of them have been like real proper earworms. They get right into your ear and you start humming them throughout the day. But she released a new single on Friday, and it's called FUFN, and it stands for Feck You for Now. Okay. Obviously keeping that, but use the explicit version. Now, the single was co-written by Ray, and if you don't know who Ray is also a successful independent artist. She made the headlines a couple of years ago after she parted ways with a record label, but she's really good at writing songs, and they're songs that, as I've said already, that have that kind of earworm. But this track she released, Tina, it's been in my head all weekend. I found myself humming it constantly. Have you had a listen?
I had a wee listen. I have to say, and I really do. I really like it. I really like it.
Do you know what it reminds me of? Now, I'm not, when I'm saying what it reminds me of, I'm not talking about the melody lyrically or anything. I'm talking about the earworm, where it just gets into your head and you can't stop singing it. Do you know what it actually reminds me of? And because it feels like it's going to be a summer bop, it reminds me of Donna Summer. This time I know it's for real.
This time I know it's for real.
Do you know just that hook into the chorus?
Yes.
Oh, babe, I'm going crazy just to let you know. It's that kind of earworm where I said I'm not comparing the songs lyrically or melodically in any way. Like they don't sound the same or anything like that. I'm talking about just that when I now hear that song, I'm thinking that is a summer bop. That is a summer sitting out in the back garden with friends round, having a few drinks, and everybody just sort of singing along to it. Yeah. But did you see her performance at the Brits?
I did.
What did you think?
That was brilliant.
Amazing. Brilliant. Absolutely. It was such a bold performance, and it was to her hit Angel of My Dreams. And that's another one of those songs that I said were a bit of an earworm. But she secured her first solo Brit. What about that?
And do you know what? I actually hope and I pray. You know the way Girls Aloud got together how many years later?
And it was about 20,
and we
about
all
15
went
or
to
something.
the concert.
Yeah.
And yous were all sat upstairs like squeegees. And me, Kathy and Sammy were in the arena and we bopped it out. I loved it. Thank you, Girls Aloud. Thank you. And I love that kind of concert. Very girly, very cheesy. But the classics.
Yeah.
I would love and pray and hope that Little Mix, I think they will.
Oh, definitely. But they're all still friends as well. Like they didn't, I mean, with the exception of maybe Jessie, the other three are all still very close.
And I think that sorry for cutting in. I think that the thing with Jessie is I can understand her fear because of the unbelievable, horrific abuse she got. Body shaming.
They did. Certainly in the early days, yeah.
In the early days, and she was just stuck. She was this kid, and she's thrown into this mega stardom, global mega stardom. And no matter how much weight she lost, and no matter how pretty she looked, she just wasn't good enough.
No,
I can understand that being a former really fat person. But at the same time, you learn from it, you grow from it, and I think that they will come back. And now that she's went through that. And most of them have got kids now, I think, I
Yeah.
think two of them. Perry has a child, and the other one was
Leanne has a child,
Leanne.
and actually Jessie has just had twins. I think that was
She had
reported.
twins.
I think she's either expecting twins or she's had twins. She and her partner had put it up on. They were live on TikTok one day, and I'd seen they were talking about her
Oh,
pregnancy. I don't think she's had a particularly good pregnancy. I think it's
right.
been quite a
Okay.
challenging one for her. But
Who's Jesse Goma? Who the baby daddy?
uh oh.
French.
I'm not actually sure. I'm not actually sure whether whether he is actually famous or not. He probably
Okay.
is.
He's
Um,
probably a taxi man from the local depot.
Jesse, it's somebody called Zion Foster.
Okay.
I'm assuming he's a performer or somebody in the music industry.
Okay.
It's not somebody I've came across. But anyway, to wrap up the Jade conversation, people
Okay.
go and listen to her single. Go and listen to her single. Stream
Right.
it. Buy it. Buy the single. Please support her. She is a massive
Yes.
LGBTQIA ally. She
Ah,
since the early days in Little Mix, she's the
yeah.
only ones of the four that were actively speaking up and
For the
criticizing
gays.
and standing up for the gays. So please go
She
and support her.
was.
Anyway, moving on.
Yes. Let me ask you this. Do you have any superstitions?
Now, this is the
Mm.
one thing where actually I think I can get on board. So I know.
Say
So
what?
I know. So we've done so many episodes around where I always refer back to the science and
You do.
things, and I'm always harping on about it. And I get that it's a bit one note, and well, that's just who
Mhm.
I am. And if you haven't worked that out by now, I'm so very sorry. Don't listen to
apologize.
don't listen to the other 42 episodes because you're going to be you're just going to hear the same thing.
Yes, very well. So some of the superstitions that I have are, like the old school ones, don't walk under a ladder,
Yeah,
a
okay.
ladder. And if an
Never
ambulance,
split a post. Never split a
don't split
post.
a post, done that today, done that today.
I'm sure you shouted
And
at me
then,
last week for that.
yeah, do you remember? I nearly
You
told her
did.
that. She was like, don't split that post. There was a couple of F's in there as well. And another one is, and when an ambulance or a fire brigade passes you, you must bless yourself.
We used to say, touch my head, touch my toes, touch my knees, hope I'm never in one of those, or some sort of
Yeah.
rhyme for that. Uh-huh.
And I remember years ago when I was in my 20s and I landed over to Manchester to see one of my best friends, Sammy O'Boyle, and he was living in this big leafy green area, big mature trees, and there was leaves everywhere, and there was magpies.
Oh.
And we were walking down the street, we were going to the shop, and he goes to me, and I heard him saying something, and then I was like talking away, and then I heard him saying something again, and I said, what are you saying? Tina, you have to say this or you'll have bad luck. And I was like, say what? Oh, good morning, Mr. Magpie. How's your wife and kids? And I was like, what? So ever since then, I have been saying every time I see a magpie, and I live in a mature tree-lined avenue. It's very leafy where I live over here up north. And it's every time I see a magpie, I say, out loud, um, good morning, Mr. Magpie. Good afternoon, Mr. Magpie. Good evening, Mr. Magpie. How's your wife and kids?
Mhm.
And I don't know if it's worked, but I'm afraid in case it doesn't. But here's another thing. It's never failed me. And it's happened to me in Gran Canaria. Jesus lost, Jesus found.
Well, now, this
Never fails.
this is a Tina Legs tantrum. This is a Messiah thing for you because the amount of times I see on Facebook when Tina's away, Jesus lost, Jesus found.
Jesus
I'm like,
found.
oh, I cannot wait to hear the story of what happened this time.
And honest to God.
Everything
Honest
from
to God.
lost Apple watches, lost phones, lost wallets.
Lost phones, lost purses, lost shoes. Can't get my dignity back. That's gone forever, that. Yes. And yeah, that's another old classic, the Jesus lost, Jesus found. Honest
Yeah.
to God. Because I tell you, for one night, now we all went out on a Saturday, done the Garbo show, and woke up on Sunday. And I was demented. Couldn't find my purse, couldn't find my phone, couldn't find my money, couldn't find a thing. And for 40 minutes, so I had a shower, and I was like, oh God, what have you done? What have you done? What have you done? And I remember we had drinks, and then we went to Burger King. And I had 2 bags, and I had one like a backpack with some costumes and stuff in it, and the other was my clutch bag. And I was like, oh, you must have left it. You must have left it.
Oh no.
Oh my God, you've left that in Burger King. What have you done? Your phone's in it. Oh my God.
Oh
And the
gosh,
next
right.
thing I looked, and I was like, Jesus lost, Jesus found, Jesus lost, Jesus found. Then I looked around and I saw my vape. And then I went, hold on. I always put them in my clutch. So that's here. So I went into my bedroom, and in the corner was my big suitcase that has a lock on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I opened
The lock.
the lock, and there inside was my phone, my purse, and the other vape, and
Oh,
my
that's
money.
good. That's good.
So I must have come in full of pink gin,
As you do.
twinkle-toed, starry-eyed, big lily-light foot, and thinking to myself, "I know I ain't gonna be really safe next time because it's only me living here, but I'm gonna put that inside that suitcase, and not only that, I'm gonna put the combination number on
Well,
and give myself the heebie-jeebies for 40 minutes the next morning." But Jesus lost, Jesus found, and there it was.
well, just to pick up on the magpie thing, like in some cultures, this is considered bad luck, and that's the reason why they say, "Hello, Mr. Magpie, how's your wife and kids?" And the
Ah,
idea is to acknowledge the bird is to ward off misfortune.
right,
And that's
okay.
kind of basically it's a folklore that's associated with magpies who are typically associated with sorrow or bad luck. And this greeting is believed to neutralize any negative effects that might be associated to the magpie. So there's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, would you know that? You know how it goes, don't you? You know the rhyme for magpies?
Yep,
One
one
for
for sorrow.
sorrow, two for joy, three
Mm-hmm.
for girl, four for a boy, five for treasure, six for gold, seven for a secret never to
Never
be
to be
told.
told.
Magpie. There used to be a program on the TV when I was a little girl, and it was called Magpie,
Right?
and there was a theme tune. So there was, and I'm sure you get it. One for sorrow, two for joy, three for girl, four for a boy, five for
Right.
treasure, six for gold, seven for a secret never to be told. Magpie. Ask your mama.
I mean, clearly you needed to have been there.
I bet you all the senior members of our audience and all our Patreon members have got Tina, it's got Tina, oh my God, Tina. So there was. Well, they're all much older than me. I was only a little girl.
I bet you're right as well. I bet you're
Yeah.
right. But
Here,
listen, go.
go. You go,
Go.
darling.
No, you go.
Do you know what? Do you know what? This is something that I've noticed in a lot of my social media platforms. I keep getting asked to sign up to newspapers.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep saying no to all of them because I stopped reading them. I used to believe everything they said years and years and years and years ago because everybody read the newspaper,
Yeah.
you know. And I was just wondering to myself, you go into a shop. It used to have all. Remember, you used to have all the newspapers all along a counter.
Yeah.
And then in the evening, and here in Belfast, you would have got the Belfast Telegraph. And I, at one point, I used to sell the Belfast Telegraph outside Mackey's factory on the Springfield Road.
Wow.
And everybody bought one. Everybody bought one. And when you opened it up, was that size?
The
It was
broadsheet.
broadsheet.
Yeah.
Way, way, way back in the day. And I often think this is what I wanted to ask you and the viewers. Do you just think that the print of newspapers is in decline?
Oh, definitely. I mean,
I
I
think
think with
so.
the rise of digital platforms, they are probably now surplus to requirements. And you'll notice in particular a lot of news aggregators. And what I mean by
Yeah.
that is websites that sort of combine multiple news sources. They now typically sell by the article. So rather than you buying a newspaper with, let's say 1,000 articles, you might now buy a subscription which will get you access to maybe 5 articles from that newspaper, 10 from that newspaper, and so on, to bring it all into kind of like to make almost like a massive news platform. Do you know that way? But there's no doubt at all that newspaper decline has been happening for years and years and years. The traditional idea of printing a newspaper, just look at the Belfast Telegraph building, like it's no longer being used. It's gone. Like, I mean, it's
Gone.
now a
There's no
concert
need for it.
venue.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is that they've been able to consolidate quite a lot of their printing facilities.
Yeah.
And because the demand is just not there, it's sort of being what's the word? Oh, it's being resigned to the history books. But speaking of newspapers, I do have a subscription to the Apple News platform, right? And I get access to all the different sort of newspapers. And this is kind of what I was saying about an aggregate news platform. But I came across an article that was out last week about a person who used to work in Weatherspoons. Now, this gentleman goes by the name of Thomas Batsford. Now, first of all, I shouldn't laugh at someone's misfortunes, because this story is kind of a bit unfortunate, that he was sacked from his position after he mistakenly sent an email to 180 people in his region complaining about his bully boss instead of to his regional manager. Now, he was actually fired for disseminating defamatory material, but a judge recently ruled that he was unfairly dismissed, which I agree with. They were forced to pay him 12.5 grand, but apparently it contained serious allegations about the boss, his boss, and another female colleague as well, who then accused him of sending unprofessional WhatsApp messages. So here's the question: have you ever been in a position where you've accidentally sent out an email or replied to a message about somebody, but actually sent that message to the person that you shouldn't have sent it to? Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, say somebody sends you a text message, and rather than go out of that message,
I've sent videos, I've sent pictures, and then I've had people coming back and saying, "What the?" And I'd be like, "Oh my God, it wasn't for you. It was for someone else." Because sometimes, on your phone, you go through your A's and your B's and your C's and your D's. And if you're chatting to somebody, like two people and they've all got B's. So I have made that big mistake of sending something really naughty to someone who's not supposed to see it.
Yeah.
I have done that, and that's why I have like 4 or 5 different group chats of different people rather than individual people, because a lot of my friends all have the same initial D. There's a few D's and there's a few G's. So I tend to separate the friends and put them into different wee groups.
Right.
So that I don't make that mistake.
Tell me more about the D's. Only joking.
39. No, so I listen, but it's only human nature. It's only human nature. And if that poor guy, God love him, Thomas, sent an email to 180 colleagues, do you know what? And they sacked him. I think fair play to him. He took them to court, because I'm always a lover of the underdog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm sure what he said hit home. Mm-hmm. And Witherspoons is worth an absolute fortune.
Well, this is it. And I mean, and of course, when it went to the tribunal, he was able to present his case. Yeah. And actually, the judge sided with him, as I've said already. They paid out. But the judge did actually say that this is a mistake that could have happened to anyone. And it is one of those things that I have to say, I can't really think. But in an organization, like in a work setting, it is it can have profound effects, because then it becomes the office gossip, and fodder for the...
Say that again.
I know. Trying to put my teeth back in. It becomes the office gossip.
No, I do believe. I always believe that people are only human, and you've often sent the wrong thing to someone at some stage, and you don't do it all the time, but it's human error. But you can imagine, and when you're angry, you're annoyed, you're upset, you're being bullied, you just want to go to work, get on with your job. And the other thing is, that your boss is being naughty as well. So therefore, favoritism is obviously going towards this other person who he's being naughty with, and this person, Thomas Batsford, is being treated really unfairly anyway. Yeah. And because he's probably stuck up for himself, the big boss, Big Balls, has obviously turned around and thought, you know what? And he has really went to town on him. Then poor Thomas, in the mood, in the frame of mind, has said, send. And he sent it to a collective.
Do you know, it's even easier done. Because if you say for example, there's an email that goes out to the entire organization, and you hit reply all rather than reply, it automatically will include everybody in there. And I have to say, in the organization that I work in, you have to have permission to send an email to a large distribution list. So the likelihood of that happening is very slim, and indeed it doesn't. But the judge basically found in his favour, and it was only because the evidence actually on that case, the investigating officer who was investigating the disciplinary admitted that his mind was already made up before the disciplinary hearing had actually took place, which straight away says that you have a predetermined outcome irrespective of the facts. But yeah, that was just an interesting tidbit I'd seen this week. But look, like I say, that is the end of the episode. We are running. We have talked so much. We have ran right out of time.
My heart is broken.
I know.
My heart is broken.
I know. But we will be back again next week for a main episode.
We will indeed. And just want to take this opportunity to thank everybody from the bottom of our gorgeous hearts for keeping our gorgeous wee Sips and Giggles podcast alive.
Absolutely.
Enjoy the rest of your St. Patrick's Day.
Yes, and of course, again, just want to say a big shout out to all of our fabulous Patreons and our new people that we've discovered over on YouTube who are watching our podcast and our subscribers. Thank you so much.
Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know if you're in a different country. Keep us updated. You know, say hello. Send us in your WhatsApps. You know, you can contact us on all platforms.
Yeah, and you'll find all of the information in this episode's very description. But until next time, Miss Legs, grab your drink. Chin.
See you later.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of G&T Sips and Giggles. If you've enjoyed our conversation, then don't forget to share it with your friends, and why not subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. Your reviews mean the world to us and really help others find the show, so please take a moment to leave one. But be kind. If you'd like to support the podcast, why not consider joining us on Patreon? For the cost of a drink a month, you can listen to episodes early, access exclusive digital content, and get discounts to upcoming G&T shows. Your support helps us keep the conversation flowing. Cheers! We'll see you next time. Chin chin!